Hello! It's been a busy week in politics this time.
Yes.
People going on trips, multiple governments being voted in, multiple governments being voted out, backroom deals. So we're going to be touching base with a whole bunch of things today. And let's start with the new conservative leader of the federal party. Do you know who it is?
Is it the French dude?
No, it wasn't.
I know it's not Kevin O'Leary because he dropped out.
No, right there is everything. It's like, who is this person? And the media had to launch into a whole bunch of explanations of who this guy was, what his political background has been, because nobody knew who he was. And his name is Andrew Scheer. He's actually been a conservative candidate for quite some time.
Now, this is the leader of the federal party, right?
Yeah, the federal conservatives.
He's going to be the one running against
Trudeau.
Mr. Trudeau.
Yes. He has a religious background, which they're already using against him because he's voted against certain things because of his religion.
Didn't he come out and say that he's not going to...
Oh, he's saying that he's not going to open up.
He's not going to reopen about gay marriage,
about gay marriage or abortion.
Yeah,
which is fine because as far as Canadians are concerned, those are
non-issues,
dead issues.
They're already
there isn't a point to bringing them up again because we know it's a gigantic can of worms. Because all we have to do is look at the U.S. of how divisive it is.
As long as he's fiscally responsible, but
yeah,
fiscally responsible in government don't go together.
That's all he's saying is like he wants to run a balanced budget. He wants smaller government. He wants less bureaucracy.
When's the last time the government shrank?
The Conservatives.
Oh, really?
Shrinking. Oh, yeah. They froze hiring. They froze wages for a while. So
that's not shrinking. That's just
stopping.
Shrinking is going backwards. But anyways, are you going to vote for this guy?
Well, I don't know yet. Actually, I'm going to see what.
You're going to vote for me because I'm going to run for prime minister. He wouldn't vote for me. Who are we kidding?
I'd have to run just so you could have a party, so you could be prime minister. Okay, so
I don't even know how that works. Like, if you win, like your party wins, do you have to pick people? You have to hire people, or what do you?
No. If your party wins, the leader of the party becomes prime minister, and the prime minister picks from the members that won in the party to fill the cabinet. So all the positions,
so and then a pretty big party.
Well, generally, majority government is how you are able to put together all the necessary stuff.
I don't even know that many people, so...
Yeah, I'm sure we could put an ad on Kijiji.
Yeah. Hiring for government positions.
Exactly. So Trump and Trudeau have both gone overseas. Trump, it was his first trips overseas, and Trudeau...
Middle East.
He's been...
the Pope.
Yeah, exactly. Both of them visited the Pope, and... both of them have had photos with the Pope. And both of them have had photos with the Pope looking glum.
Yeah, but there wasn't much hoopla about the Trudeau one looking glum. I didn't even see anything.
No, actually.
Trump's was like, oh my God, and it was like everywhere.
Hates him and
the Pope hates him, and I'm like...
and it's like...
No, the Pope is probably just like, I don't want to talk to these guys. Why do I care? He's like, I'm old.
But here was the thing. It's like... the media exploded about Trump and the bad photo with the Pope, but as you saw later on, there's a bunch of videos with both of them smiling and actually looking like they're having a
photo doesn't really capture the whole...
Yeah, because you can also capture a photo right before things are supposed to be happening, and, they're...
How many photos did those photographers take, and they went, oh, we're going to release this one because it looks like this.
Yeah, it fits my narrative.
Yeah, it fits my narrative,
So
what's the big thing about meeting the Pope? Like, he's not a world leader.
No, he's
just a religious leader, really.
He is the head of one of the world's largest religions.
Like Christians, right?
Right? Catholics specifically, but Christians tend to fall into that.
Isn't religion supposed to be out of politics?
No. People always assume that separation of church and state means that religion isn't supposed to be in politics, but separation of church and state means that there is no state-run religion.
But I would think that having a religious view as a political leader would affect what's doing the best for everybody. Because not everybody views the same, right?
No, you're right.
I don't care. I don't care.
Religion is going to, depending on how you want to look at it, but will taint your view of how you run things. Like this Andrew Scheer guy, because he has religion. He did vote against gay marriage. He did vote against a couple of other things that could be misconstrued as being anti whatever. But he is voting according to his conscience and what his
constituents want.
There we go. And, if that's how you're voted in, you kind of have to...
Oh, yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to kind of...
Yeah. So,
I think it would be cool if I was a world leader just to meet the Pope. Like, it's the Pope.
Now, there was a whole bunch of things I learned, because I understand they meet the Pope, but I didn't realize that it's customary to give a gift. The Pope gives a gift, and he gives a gift back. The women that are supposed to go are supposed to dress in some sort of black attire with a little bit of a veil. And Trump's wife and daughter did. They were dressed in black.
Yeah,
and
that's why they got made fun of so much.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. That's the way they were supposed to dress.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that either. And then Trudeau's wife, she didn't.
And
not a word.
See, look at that.
Now, the meme that did come out of the Trudeau Pope meeting was that the Pope was so lucky to have Trudeau come and lecture him about how to be a good Catholic.
Oh my God.
Because Trudeau was supposed to ask the Pope to ask for an apology for the mistreatment of Indians here in Canada, which apparently the Catholic Church did in 2007.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. The BC Liberals got shafted out of majority government during the elections.
Wasn't it more of a coup type thing?
It was, yeah. It was a coup between the NDP and the Green Party. They had their election at the beginning of May, but they had to wait until the 22nd of May.
Because there was a minority government with
there was some recounts.
Yeah.
So once the recounts were in, you could tell whether or not they were going to have a minority government or not. So the Green Party holds 3 seats, which the Liberals had 43. You need 44 for majority. The NDP had 41. You need 44 for a majority. Guess what the Greens have? All the power.
And they teamed up with the NDP, right?
Yeah, and they did. And, oh boy.
So now we got NDP running all of Western Canada.
But here's the great part. Birds of a feather do not flock together in this case. You would think that the Alberta NDP and the BC NDP would be having a big, giant kumbaya fest. Nope.
They sure are not.
They are not. The BC NDP said, fuck you. You guys aren't building those pipes out here.
And we're like, yeah, we are, because the federal government said we are. Great.
So there's an actual fight between two NDP governments.
Let's just separate from Canada. Let's just keep Alberta money in Alberta. Say, fuck you to the rest of the country. And just, there you go.
Yeah, if we didn't actually have to give transfer payments, we wouldn't have a debt.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I don't understand. That's like giving your money. You're giving your neighbor money. Because they're your neighbor. You're rich, so... everybody complains about wealth redistribution, yet that's what we do here.
In Canada,
everything is wealth redistribution.
Because we have and have not.
But it's just enough. It's just enough to keep people happy.
No. It's just enough to keep Quebec happy. It has nothing to do with the rest of Canada. It has to do with Quebec. And I totally kind of understand part of the reason behind it. Is because some provinces are going to have good years and some provinces aren't. And you're supposed to help out because you're all part of the same country.
Yeah.
But I've always wondered why you're allowed to be a have-not province forever.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, when at what point do we go, okay?
Because Quebec has never been a have province. Well, they've always been a have-not.
Nobody over there has been a have, really.
No. Ontario has.
Have they? Okay.
I believe all the Atlantic provinces have at one point in time not been a have-not province. Like, I understand, like, when the for all the fishing provinces, when they had to cut fishing out of their diet, I understand their economy's tanking, and us as generous Canadians helping them out, it's like, hey, I understand that. But
I just, we voted in, like, the NDP. right? And that was a big fucking
That was a mistake.
hoopla. And really, honestly, how much has our life really changed? It's gotten a little bit more expensive. It has.
A carbon tax.
Well, but you don't think that the conservatives would have put in some other kind of goofy tax or something other to make our lives more expensive, or the liberals would have put some weird thing in somewhere, or our life would have got more expensive.
See, the one thing about the PC party in Alberta was that they never technically raised taxes, so they never gave us a PST.
Then why does my rent go up every year when I sign my new lease? Because property taxes get more expensive.
Yeah, and that's actually more of a city.
No, I get it, but in some way, there's some sort of, no matter how you cut it, there's some new something that costs you more money.
No,
there's some new fee. There's some new something.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
and unfortunately, that is the way the world works.
So to sit here and for the left to be mad at the right and the right to be mad at the left, I'm going.
But okay, the whole point of being mad is the right side people are supposed to go to Alberta healthcare. It is a boondoggle. Like, we're spending what was it, $2,400 more per person in Alberta than BC is, and BC has better health coverage. They get it in the shorter wait times, less bureaucracy. So why are we spending $2,400 more per person in the health?
Probably on bureaucracy, right?
Exactly.
It's probably on wasted shit.
This is where you have to have somebody come in and start going, you know what? No.
Trim the fat.
No. You know, and then, the left will always go, oh, you're cutting frontline services. Is like, well, not if you do it right.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's what most governments do. They look and they don't. I think they need to cut from up here instead of from down here.
Well,
like frontline services shouldn't be
top,
the affected one.
The
I think
middle.
It should be all the top. Like, well, we've talked about it before, and we've delved into it before, where somebody at the top, a CEO of something, is making millions and millions of dollars, and it's like, well, you're part of a public company. You shouldn't be making millions and millions of dollars, And it's like nobody really wants to make those big decisions. They're like, oh, we'll cut. Janitor or nurse or doctor will be like, okay, we'll cut you guys because...
No, that's not the way you're supposed to do it.
No, you need to cut the...
In Nova Scotia, there was an election as well, and they elected a Liberal majority government, but not by much, only by like 3 seats. But the big story of it was the PC party in Nova Scotia actually gained a hell of a lot of seats by comparison. The Liberals lost a whole bunch. The PC won a bunch. And yes, it's still a Liberal majority, but the Liberal brand is starting to take a little bit of a pounding out there. So that's interesting to know. In both Alberta and Ontario, new labor laws have come into effect.
I read something about it, but I didn't read too much into it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like more days off for maternity or something like that? Or
more guaranteed maternity leave, not being fired if you have to take care of sick loved ones, more
just be like
sick days that you can take without getting
like
fired.
A company, between a company and an employee, right? If you want to work for somebody and have no vacation days, isn't that your choice? Shouldn't be something that's mandated, right?
Well, no.
Like, I get why they mandate it, because people in business would be assholes and
somebody was
for $2 an hour.
Somebody was an asshole, and because this mom had to take care of her child for I think it was like 2 weeks. They let her go, and I kind of see why they would bring something like that in. But I understand the point of the business is like, well,
I'm here to run a business.
I need somebody here to work.
Yeah.
If I can work without you, fine. I can let you have that time off. But if I can't work without you, I have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Bring them in. And, well...
Why aren't we following more of a European model? They seem like they're way happier over there. I don't know because I've never been over there, but... obviously any documentary you watch is geared.
Yeah, exactly. And the documentary Where to Invade Next, which we have talked about, talks about this whole thing. So
obviously it gives you from that perspective that they want you to hear. So you don't see the bad side of it.
No, exactly. So it's great for us to go, oh, what about the European model? Well, we don't necessarily know.
We don't know the whole story behind it.
So. We know some of the story, and there's some parts that we actually enjoy. So, Yeah, it was just it was a busy week in politics, and
we didn't even touch on the United States going out of whatever the Paris
the
thing.
Paris Accord agreement.
Because we're not going to, because we're not scientists. Because I don't understand any of it. I have no idea what the Paris Accord is.
I kind of know what it is, but for the most part, because this part is the big thing. It is not a legally binding agreement.
Yeah.
So there is no punishment if you actually fail to do what you said you were going to do. It's like a promise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, busy week in politics, guys, and like I said, we didn't even touch on the huge one. Maybe we'll touch on that one day, but I don't understand climate change. I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the show. Later.